Hey guys, I have a story to tell. You probably won't believe me, and frankly, I'm done trying to convince people. It was about 3 weeks ago. I was on Google looking for some funny sites to look at. I found my way to an image board. Everyone on the board spoke in extremely cryptic nonsense. They said things like, "Hail, I saw them tonight. Holding's hand, we are up high. 999-240-28. The king come down." The one phrase that was used repeatedly, "the king come down." At first, I thought it was spam because of the number strings that preceded it, but its use was way too frequent and erratic to be spam. There would be typos and the numbers didn't appear to be random. I decided, fuck it. I'll see what's going on with this site. I posted on what appeared to be a random board, much like B. There was no discernible theme among the images and posts. I said, "Hello, I'm new," and was looking to start a funny thread. Ask them to post their funniest pictures. That was the first time it started. I remember the first reply very clearly. It said, "Good to see. You joined the help. Help." From there it got a little strange. I was told to ignore the grafts. I assumed this was some sort of in-joke. From there, they began to speak like crazy people, posting seemingly random numbers and letters, characters from many languages. A few seemed Russian and Middle Eastern, as well as possibly Chinese and Korean characters. I honestly had no idea what was going on. Then I saw the phrase again. Numbers, followed by, "The king come down." Following that, my power cut off. Complete blackout. Freaked me out. I checked the fuses and the switches had just flipped. Flicking them back up, the power went on. When I returned to my PC, there was an image on the screen of a young boy. He was Caucasian, no older than 10. I sat down, a little creeped out, but feeling curious. The boy smiled and appeared to speak, but I couldn't hear anything. My speakers were on, so I turned up the volume. I could only just barely hear what he was saying. It was a hushed whisper. I turned the volume up full, and it was still only a faint whisper. His lips moved slowly. I pushed my head closer to try and figure out what he said. And then he shouted loudly, a booming and terrifying voice screaming at me like some sort of demonic god. The image had changed. The boy was crying. His eyes were bleeding heavily as white arms tore the skin from his face. The power cut out again. Again, it was the fuses. When I got my power back, everything was normal, and my PC booted up normally, and nothing creepy happened. Then I started receiving the emails. They were extremely cryptic and filled with random numbers, much like the image board posts. I got an email that was in regular English, too. It said this: "Just pass it on. Just fucking pass it on." I didn't know what it meant. I got up to get a drink and froze in fear. From my ceiling hung a man. His body swinging gently. On my wall, written in dry blood, were the words, "The king come down." I blinked, and the sight was gone. For weeks, this continued. I went back to the image board. I was sure I was going out of my mind, just about ready to commit myself to a fucking asylum. I read a post in coherent English that said something like, "Pass on the king, pass on the king." The thread forward before I could even get to it. I went to make a new thread, and when I began typing, the words in my mind were not what appeared in the box. My fingers typed words by their own volition. I typed two things. Higsooths and 4918484. The king come down. Then somehow I realized I was passing it on. The crazy hallucinations stopped. I learned how to be safe. I'm sorry.
Haxims 44919-174. The king come down.